Welcome to Let Me Be Frank, Mike. I'm Mike here with Frank. How are we doing today, Frank?
Pretty good, my friend, pretty good. I'm ready for another glorious week. I know we weren't here last week, but you're going to mention our Twitter here real soon. I had a good week last week. I had a very good week. I loved the Rams last week. I know I did get to put it on Twitter Sunday morning. I had the Rams, Miami, Cincinnati, and definitely lost on the Colts. We did real good in our contest. Actually, Mike is going to talk about his contest, I think, today.
Yeah, I'll talk about it
A little bit. I think I just threw that into me. He had no knowledge I was going to do that today.
It was a sad situation, you know.
It was, but hey, you're there for your first year at the Westgate contest. I'm impressed.
I know, I'm right there, but
You're there, buddy.
last week hurt.
It hurt. We'll talk about that in a little bit. All right, Mike. So
Yeah,
you
I'll
want
do some.
to get to your picks here this week?
Let me talk about last week a little bit.
Okay.
So Frank went 3-1. I went 3-2. I had Giants, Lions. Oh gosh, hold on 1 second. Giants, Lions. I forgot what my third pick was. Oh, the Vikings. It was Giants, Lions, Vikings. Were my 3 winners. Then Eagles, Colts were my 2 losers. So as you can see, we have a Twitter now. The Twitter handle is Let Me Be Frank Mike. No E at the end of Mike. So it's Let Me Be Frank MIK. All one word. So come check us out. We've been doing it for 2 weeks now. We were gonna talk about it last week on last week's podcast, but I got my phone stolen and we couldn't do the podcast. I couldn't get a hold of Frank. It was a hot mess. It was a whole ordeal. But we do have 2 weeks of picks up there, and we post, sometimes little things about games and whatever and whatnot. But last week we went 5-0 on our picks, or I went 5-0 on my picks, and this week I went 3-2. Frank went 3-1. Last week Frank went
3-1 on.
Frank went 2-1 on the picks on the contest last week.
Oh, the contest.
So not on the contest. Sorry, not on the contest. On Twitter. So Frank went 2-1 last week. I went 5-0, and then this most recent week I went 3-2 and he went 3-1. So come check out our Twitter. Once again, it's Let Me Be Frank Mike MIK. No E at the end, all one word. So Let Me Be Frank MIK on Twitter. Come check us out.
Yep, and check it on Sunday mornings because we do discuss a lot of games on Saturday night and Sunday morning. We usually get together at a casino and watch the games most of the time. But we sometimes we'll add picks on Sunday morning. And again, if you don't see us up on a Friday night, something happened, went weird. But we will definitely have our picks on Twitter. My next project is working on Spotify, and we will be getting on that too. So that's just all sound. So we're moving along here. We're getting there. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I might as well talk about it now. Last week in the Super Contest, I had a chance to be a 3-week winner, and we missed out on it by 1. We went 3-2 in the week.
Yeah, the guy had 12.5, and you had 11.5.
Yeah, so it was really close. It was a really tight game. Even if we had a tie, which the week before this last week we went 4-0-1. And that tie really should have been a win, and that would have got us in the money. It was tough. It was heartbreaking, but we're still only 4 wins out of the leader right now. Frank and I both do our contest. Crazy enough, not with each other, but with another one of our buddies.
I have an associate in Cleveland. I've been in it for 20 years with him.
So, but we're right in it. I have 19 wins. You have 18.5.
18.5.
And the sole leader is away with 23 right now. So we're right in it.
We're hanging in there. There's a lot of guys with 20 and 22. I'm sorry, Westgate, but I don't like your payoff, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, let's not complain about.
Right, let's just go.
But anyway, that was what Frank was talking about. We were so close to getting in the money. We're right there. We've been in it all year long. We've been so close to cashing out, and we just miss it just by that much.
he's gonna remember this one for the rest of his life.
Well, it was
I
just
remember that until he hits the big one. Then when he hits that big one, this is nothing to him.
but it was a tough week. It was a tough week. I was stressed out about getting those picks in. My picks went 1-1, my buddy's picks went 1-1, and then our collab pick hit. So it was tough. I had the 49ers. I never saw that coming. And my buddy had the Falcons, and they had plenty of opportunities to win that game, but Ritter just throws picks. And we'll get to Ritter here in a second. And you know what, Frank? Let's just get right into the picks. Huh?
All right, let's go.
Okay, so I'm going to kick us off.
Kick us off.
And Frank so generously loaned me this beautiful Philadelphia Eagles hat, which I have on backwards right now.
I got my Humphrey Bogart hat back.
To maintain.
I found a TV station that had Humphrey Bogart movies on too.
I don't think anyone knows who that is, Frank.
Oh my God, you poor kids. One of the greatest actors ever. Anyways, go ahead.
Well, I have this beautiful hat on thanks to Frank, and it's a Phillies hat. Not a Phillies hat. It's an Eagles hat.
And I have the Eagles jersey on. I was going to wear the hat with the jersey,
But
donated.
he donated to his homeless friend over here that can barely maintain
That's
his
my
hair.
buddy,
But listen, Frank. We talk about all the time weeks 7 through 10.
I'm going to invite my homeless buddy here next week to be on the show. I think he's over at 7-Eleven right now.
I'm a charity
Looking for
charity
cupcakes.
case. I'm a charity case. That's all I have to say. After missing out on the contest
All
last
right,
week,
go
I'm broken. No, but listen, you and I talk about all the time. We don't really talk too much about it on the podcast, but you and I talk about all the time how weeks 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you turn on into another gear.
I do.
I'm not really that.
I'm already
like that,
eyeing
but-
up some teams already for the next 2 or 3 weeks.
But you're ready to let some money loose, is what you're saying, 'cause
yes,
you've seen it all.
I'm not going to throw money away after just waiting to see what's going to happen and who's not going to happen. I know we're going off our script here a little bit, but I've watched the Jets. Their defense last year was awesome. They're progressing more and more as the year goes on. So I would definitely be looking at the Jets soon, coming up in the next 3 to 4 weeks. Look at their schedule, but they're going to get better. I know the quarterback is useless, pathetic, but that defense keeps that teams in the games, and it's going to win a few for them. So, anyways, look for them. The team that I'm going to say bet against is Carolina. I'm looking at their schedule ahead. They're terrible. They remind me of Jacksonville their first year. I think Jacksonville went 2-15 that year with Trevor Lawrence. Matter of fact, my associate, if I remember, he bet against Jacksonville every game that year. So, anyways, I'm looking at going against Carolina. I just think they're just going to get worse. All right. I'm sorry, I went off the script again.
No, you're fine. Anyway, so why I brought that up, why I brought the 6 to 10 week thing up is because that's when you really like to let some big bets go. And I really do think that these Eagles this week against the Dolphins are going to be a big bet for me. Listen, the Dolphins have all the public hype. I get it. Their offense is really good. Their defense is not good. I know that we just,
They're not.
I just don't think that they're good. I know that a lot of rankings have them like, at least top half of the league. I don't even know if they're top half of the league. I just don't think that they can control this Eagles offense. Eagles coming off a bad loss that they shouldn't have lost. Hurts threw a pick right before the 2-minute warning to give the Jets a chance when they should have just been able to run the clock out or punt it, put them in bad field position, and make them drive the field. That's not what happened. Hurts threw a pick, kind of threw the game away. They should have closed it out even earlier than that. But listen, they're going to be hungry for this win. They're coming back home. They're at home, less than a field goal. I think their defense last week wasn't too healthy. Their defense this week, they should get back Slay. They should get back Jalen Carter. Listen, the way to beat Tua is to get pressure on him with a 4-man front. That's how you beat Tua right now. Because if
Buffalo did it, that's for sure.
Yeah, if you can put pressure on him with 4 guys or maybe 5 guys, and you can keep your secondary intact so you don't have to bring extra guys for pressure, you can double team Hill, you can double team Waddle, and then you can kind of take away those avenues that Tua has. See, the thing is that people can't get pressure on Tua and when they do bring pressure, they leave Hill and Waddle on single coverage, and then they have these huge, massive plays. And here's the other thing. Listen, I think Mostert's a good running back. I think he's a little overhyped right now. And I think he's going to come down to earth a little bit. And I just think that this offense for the Dolphins is very dynamic, but I think the Eagles' defense can contain them, definitely with Slay coming back and Jalen Carter coming back. I think they'll get a lot of pressure up the middle. I think they won't be as successful running the ball, and I think Jalen Hurts is going to be hungry to prove himself and get back out there and get a win and get his team back on track at home, less than a field goal. I mean, it's...
Like the less than the field goal.
I love it.
And I'm with him. I said I was wearing my Philly colors all day today. I love Philadelphia again. I like him a lot. Again, I
How many times are we going to say again that you like him a lot?
Okay, but on the Philly game.
Oh, come on, let's hear it.
This is a Super Bowl preview.
I throw a big bet out there.
If Philly gets past San Francisco, they're playing Miami.
I throw a big bet out there, and of course Frank has to say.
Offense versus a defense, and what am I? I'm a defensive guy, right?
Yeah, so you should be all over the Eagles.
I'm most likely by time Monday night, or was it Sunday night game or Monday night game?
Sunday night.
Sunday night game. By Sunday night, I'd probably be all over Philadelphia. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, don't fucking bring me down like that. Okay. Oh gosh. Anyway, okay, Frank, what's your first pick? Give it to us.
Okay, now I'm ready for him to come back.
Yeah, now you got me all spicy. Now I am gonna come for you. Even if I do like your pick, I'm still gonna come
I set him up to come after me, to be honest with you, because nobody likes this pick. They think the line is too high. He has reasons to go against me, and okay, here goes.
Perfect, give it to me.
Okay, Buffalo. I love Buffalo.
Oh, God.
All right, I love Buffalo.
Frank and I, at the beginning of the season, and we mentioned this a couple times on the podcast over the year, we do season previews. We go through every team. We look through every roster. We look through every lineup. We look through every schedule. We pinpoint games that we're looking at. And those games change, obviously, as the course of the season goes on, as teams do well or worse or whatever the case may be. Injuries happen. But I told Frank at the beginning of the year, I hate this Patriots team. I hate Mac Jones. I said, I'm going to take the under on their win total because I don't think they get... It was 7.5. I was like... Or maybe it was 8 flat. It was 7.5 or 8, wherever, depending on where you went. And I was like, I don't even think they get close to that. I think they might win 4 games. And so... I did not like this Patriots team at the start of the year, but I told Frank, I was like...
They're even worse now.
I was like, Frank, you have to be careful, though, because in these divisional games, they play tight and they play tough. We saw it, what was it, week 3 or maybe I can't remember if it was week 2 or week 3 when they played the Dolphins, and they hung tight in that game the whole time. I think it ended 24-17, I think was the final score. The Dolphins won. But I'm just saying that they hang tight in these divisional games. They always hang tight. And then their other divisional game that they had against the Jets, they covered the spread.
And he has a legitimate...
And they won outright.
Legitimate reason, and he's right. The New England does play these guys tough, and sometimes they win. I mean, they'll split their series, whether it's at home or it's at Buffalo. There's going to probably be a split in here somewhere. But I'll tell you what, and I'm going to give you my reasons why.
Well, here's the thing, Frank. Here's the thing for me, at least, real quick, before you give your reasons. Buffalo money line, I'd be all over. I wouldn't mind if someone took Buffalo money line. Do I love it because it's juiced up to crazy? Whatever. I know there's a lot of money line parlay people out there. If you want to put Buffalo money line, whatever.
And there's a lot. I mean, you can probably tease it too, but I'm against teasers from here on in the rest of the
But plus 8.5. I mean, I could easily see this game going.
It could be a 7-point game.
Being an 8-point game.
It's a point and a half. I mean, I got it by 10. Actually, as the week went on, I actually put a score to this, and I've been pretty accurate with scores lately, by the way. But I'm gonna put a score to it. I'm gonna put 34-17. I'll be surprised if New England even gets 17
Here's the thing. If Buffalo can score...
Thank you, referees, for helping New England.
If Buffalo can score about like 24-27, I think that you should be good on the spread. If they're in the 30s, you're definitely covering.
Right.
If you're in the high 20s, you're definitely covering. 24, that's kind of the cutoff for me. They could get 24 points, and then you're kind of, might lose by the hook or lose by a point. But if they get anything more than 24, or even 24 is kind of like that iffy area, I think you cover. But I just don't
I
know.
remember the score of the Washington. What was the score of the Washington Buffalo game? You would have that off your head.
The Washington Buffalo game?
Yeah.
Oh, they smoked them. It was like 38-6 or something.
Okay,
Like that.
I was thinking it was wrong. All right. Okay, so here's my reason. Buffalo. I know y'all gonna think I'm crazy, but here it goes. Buffalo points for are 173. Points against 89 points. Okay, 89.
I will say those numbers are skewed though because they played the
Okay.
Raiders and the Commanders, who they both blew out at home.
Well, do you think New England is better than any of those two teams right now? No.
Not really. We just saw
All
them
right.
lose to the Raiders. So.
Pats, 72 points for. Gave up 152. What happened to Belichick's defense that was there last year and the year before?
It's not the defense. It's not the defense. It's the offense that keeps turning the ball over, and they can't hold the ball for longer than 3 plays, so they got to punt it away. This
And their
defense is
defense is
exhausted.
wearing down probably during the game.
And they get
Good
so
point.
many turnovers. I mean, Mac Jones just seems like throws a pick or two every game. He's good for a pick or
Remember
two.
2
at
years
least.
ago I was high on Mac Jones? Now,
I remember
now I'm ready to
this-
throw him the buzzards.
No, I remember the beginning of the year you were high on Mac Jones.
I was not
And
as
I
high
was-
as I was last year, but I was high on him again this year. I figured
And
it's
once
third
again,
or fourth
Michael's
year.
right. I don't know why Frank ever doubts me.
Here we go.
He's garbage. Just like Desmond Ritter's garbage. That's why we lost the super contest, because
Oh, there we
Desmond
go.
Ritter is garbage.
We knew that Ritter was going to come out
Fuck.
soon.
Gosh darn it.
That's only
Griffin,
$17,000, wasn't it?
Why are we taking the Falcons, Griffin? Why are we taking the Falcons?
$17,000. We'd have green
Just kidding.
screen here.
I can't blame Griffin for taking the Falcons. He had sound logic for that bet, but I just can't stand betting on the Falcons because I just hate Desmond
It's hard
Ritter.
betting on bad teams.
I hate
first of
Desmond
all.
Ritter. He's
if
just
you
so
know us
bad.
all year long, we're betting the Rams, the Miamis, the Buffaloes. We're sticking with top teams and top defenses.
Well, because you always feel like you have a chance. Even in that Buffalo game where the spread was 15.5, I took the Giants last week.
You did.
But the Buffalo spread was 15.5. Even when you're in the fourth quarter in that game and you're up, 6 points or whatever. I mean, I know the Giants had a chance to come back and win, but even then, you still felt like, maybe I have a chance to cover the spread because the Buffalo offense can be very explosive when they want to be. I mean, they were.
Well,
But
I had a problem with that line, one, because we already saw San Francisco go down and Philadelphia go down. Why not another team, big top team, go down?
well, that's the thing. That's what I was telling Griffin. I was like, if the Falcons go down 14-0, we're, you know what I mean?
Right.
We're screwed. We're done.
Right?
It doesn't matter what happens. I just don't believe in Ritter. And lo and behold, they went down. I think it was like 14-3 or 21-3 or something like that. And they came back and had plenty of opportunities. Ritter throws 2 red zone picks. Anyway, we'll get more to Ritter later. I'm sorry, I keep cutting you
That's
off.
all right. Today's our wine day.
Yeah, seriously, after last week losing out on 17.
And I don't blame them. I just I was in a last man standing contest years ago at the Texas stations, and I came down to 1 game left myself to win 18,000, and I blew that one. But anyways, let's what's your pick?
Yeah, my second pick. Sorry.
What's the second pick? Let's
Sorry.
get going here.
My second pick is gonna be. Hold on, I got a little prop for this one. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, ladies and gentlemen. This is my little guy. We had him up here the other day. It's actually Frank's, but he has his little.
I'm a diehard pirate man.
He's got his little telescope, and what he's seeing in this telescope, it actually tells the future, is that the Buccaneers minus 2.5 is a lock. Yeah, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting on the right side of the Falcons now, and by the right side, I mean the opposite side. Because Desmond Ritter, for the 20th time, I say it every week on this podcast, I feel like I'm betting against the Falcons every week. Desmond Ritter is a garbage quarterback. He shouldn't be in the NFL. The only thing that can save this Falcons team, and I don't even know if we can save him, is to bring in Taylor Heineke. He's not reliable. He's bad. This Buccaneers defense, listen, last week, Buccaneers Lions. All the sharps were all over the Bucs. I was on the Lions because I know that this Lions team, they're my favorite team. I know them in and out. I know that they can beat that team. But the Buccaneers did not play bad football. Okay, the Detroit Lions played really good football.
Detroit's a good team. They're 5-1.
Yeah, and the Bucs tried to compete. The Bucs defense looked good. Their offense didn't look that great, but what we're seeing is that Detroit's defense is so good, and they make you one-dimensional with that run stopping, which is why I'm so interested to watch this.
I would not be
Baltimore Lions
surprised
game.
would not be surprised if Tampa, in the top 5 picks at the Westgate, might be #1 pick.
I wouldn't be surprised either. This Tampa team, they have a really solid defense. And guess what? The Falcons' offense is scary. If they're not running the ball successfully, and last week I don't know why they abandoned the run so early, maybe because they went down early after that punt fumble. But if they're not running the ball effectively, they're not winning games. They cannot win games unless they're running the ball effectively. So now you're going to give me Mayfield coming off a loss. They're at home. They didn't have to travel. They just had a bye the week before the Lions game. They're hungry. They're fighting for the division. This is a really big game because these are the two teams right now. Well, I mean, New Orleans is in it too, but these three teams are kind of vying for first place in the division. So for the Bucs to beat the Falcons, they need to beat the Falcons at home for the division. So I think there's a lot of motivation here. I think the Bucs defense is good. I think it's better than the Falcons defense, and I'd rather have Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans, and Chris Godwin and Rachaad White than I would, I don't know, Desmond Ridder. That's all I have to say. Desmond Ridder. He is garbage. Please do not bet on this man unless you see a super good situation.
I'm sorry. You up.
I know, it's just Desmond Ritter, Frank. He gets me all riled up and he loses me money and I just hate him.
I'm gonna go to my pick here. Okay, this is an ugly game. Ugly game. But I can't, and I think it's gonna be a close game, so that 3 points, but I like the Rams against the Steelers. I know.
Why are we not on the same side here?
Because the Steelers have burned me, twice already this year?
Listen, Frank, we talked about games last week. I told you what my 5 picks were going to be in the Super
I
Contest.
agree with you.
And you said, I'm all on board for all of those.
I was on board the Steelers, but again, as the week goes on and I do a little more homework, wow. Steelers,
the Steelers aren't in my contest.
Steelers, again, looking at some weird numbers here. Steelers have scored 79 points, which means their offense is pathetic, and they played against some good defenses. So they played the Ravens, they played
the Browns, the 49ers.
The 49ers, and trust me, and their defense gave up 110 points, which is probably low for who they played, against what they played. And I agree, 79 points. And the Rams defense is not the Rams defense of the Super Bowl era.
The Rams team is all offense. They win games by playing offense. Right. If they can outscore you, they win.
If Pittsburgh rushes, Stafford's going to throw some pickoffs. He's going to get picked. If that rush is brutal, it's going to be an ugly game.
Well,
we have 3 points at home, and I got two really good wide receivers. I think the Rams pull this game out, probably by the hair of their chinny chin chin, and I'm looking at, I know, a weird score, this is going to be 24-17.
Rams.
I
just don't like this.
I don't like this spot.
The Steelers are coming off a bye. Stafford has kind of been pick prone a little bit. I love him, he's my boy, but he's kind of been pick prone. This Steelers defense is stout, that offensive line's kind of banged up. And the Steelers are healthier. They just came off a bye. Pickett had some time to rest and kind of figure out his stuff. Mike Tomlin is good off a bye. I don't know. It's a hard game. I stay away.
No, I said it's an ugly game. It's very ugly. But I'm not going to put a lot of money on this game. I mean, right now, I'll be honest with you, I'm really focused on Buffalo right now this week.
Oh, you think that's going to be a big bet for you?
I think it's going to be a big bet, and I think if we pull this one off, as much as I gave him, or he gave me a DiNozzo on Philly, if I can pull this Buffalo game off, I'm going to put probably, I'm not going to say I'm going to double up.
You're gonna roll it over.
I'm going to roll it over to Philly.
I
don't know if I'll double up or roll it over, but I will put a proportion of that win on Buffalo. I'm confident with Buffalo. I just, these numbers.
Listen, that sounds good, because that's what you know what? We should start putting our 5 Super Contest picks in here. If we know them by Friday. Start putting it in the podcast.
Yeah, I mean, me and my associate don't get to ours till like Friday night. Maybe we could put them on Twitter for Sunday. If you guys want to check out our Sunday.
Yeah, we'll put our Super Contest picks on there.
Yeah, we'll have our contest by Sunday.
Anyway, we will put that on Twitter. I like that idea. But my last pick. Are you done with the Rams? I don't want to cut you off.
Yeah, and again, that Rams game is ugly. It is more of a lean right now. But again, I'm not really focused on that game. But I'm just telling folks I like that game. That's about it for me.
Yeah, that's Frank's 2 picks. And I have one more pick, ladies and gentlemen, and it's a little bit of a hold your nose. I don't really think it is, but I think a lot of people, and I know a couple sharps that are on Kansas City. But I like the Chargers plus 5.5. Listen, this line opened at 6. It immediately got bet down to 5.5. It's very similar to the Patriots mindset, right? I get it. We saw the Chargers. They did not look that good coming off of their bye against the Cowboys. They lost at home. Okay, they got to go into Arrowhead. It's going to be crazy. But if you look at the 2 games they played last year, which I think Kansas City looked better last year than they do this year, the Chargers played them tough every single game.
Interconference game.
Interdivisional matchup.
Chargers, if they want to get to the next level, they got to beat Kansas. That's it.
And I'm getting 5.5 points. I see this game 31-27. I think it's tight the whole way through. I think it's probably an over game. And I think Kansas City, they probably win. They're at home. But I think that the Chargers can cover 5.5 easy.
That in the last 6 games that they've played, home and away, in the last 3 years, whatever it is, that line was no higher than 2 or 3 points.
Well,
and the game always fell from 6 and under.
You know what's crazy? The last 8 games the Chargers have lost have been by 7 or less points. And we're getting 5.5 here. I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get to it right after this. But I love the Chargers as a teaser pick. You tease it from 5.5 to 11.5. 11.5 is a very big number for me. So you're looking at 31-20, which I don't think that the Chiefs blow this team out. I don't think they win by 2 touchdowns. I think it's tight the whole way through. I think the Chargers as a teaser pick is the best teaser leg on the board. And I don't even think it's close.
This is a 3 or 4 point game either way.
I agree.
Who's going to have the ball last?
Yeah, I agree. It's going to come down to the very end. I think it's going to be a great game.
You know, San Diego's defense was what, 2 or 3 weeks ago? They were like the worst defense in football. Their defense showed up against Dallas the other day.
I mean, they're picking it up. Listen, this Kansas City offense is not as good as we remember. The defense is not as good as we remember. We have to remember, I get it. I think what's built into the line a little bit is they have that mini bye week because they played Thursday night last week. But did you watch that Broncos game, Frank? The Broncos-Chiefs game last Thursday night? I don't know if you watched it.
No, I did not.
I watched it, and the Chiefs did not look good. The Broncos looked like they had many opportunities to take that game. Of course they don't, because they're the Broncos.
Another conference game, and they play close.
And you know what the other crazy thing is? This is a sandwich game, because they play the Broncos last Thursday night, they play the Chargers tonight, or not tonight, but Sunday, and then they play the Broncos next Sunday. So it's divisional, and it's exhausting when you play divisional games back to back because everyone's so tough. Yeah, they're important games.
Very important games.
So I like the Chargers plus 5.5.
They're the key sometimes to winning football.
Yeah,
at the end of the year, when you look at your bottom line at the end of the year, interconference games is sometimes one team wiped out one team at home and then they go back to the other person's house and they come back. They play tough, and sometimes they switch it. Sometimes the visiting team beats them at their house, and they comes back and beats them the other way.
Okay, we're gonna move on to our Dakota Dog of the Week and our teaser of the week. Unless you want to say anything else, Frank.
No, I do want to comment on his Charger game. I do like it a lot. I agree with. I like his 3 picks. I really do like his picks. I really don't have much to say against them.
Oh my gosh, Frank is being so nice right now. He's not usually this nice.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
I'm mad because I can't get him to nozo on the side of his head.
Well, the funny thing is that I don't really listen. I think the Bills line is okay. It's fishy to me. I don't like laying that kind of points. That's why I'm off it. The Rams game, I think you're right. I think it's just going to be a tight game, and I just don't want to touch it. But let's get to our Dakota Dog of the Week and our teaser of the week.
All right, I got an ugly dog. I had 3 other dogs, but until I realized that I wasn't getting the points, I didn't like them anymore. But I'm going with the Giants.
And I'm going to go with...
Can they finally win a game? They're 1-5. They're not as ugly as Carolina is, but they're ugly. But we're going with the Giants.
Yeah, I kind of like that pick, though. I think coming off of, was that Sunday night? Yeah, Sunday night against the...
They showed a little bit of promise.
Against the Bills, they showed a little promise. Tyrod Taylor looked good. That's what I was betting on. I think Tyrod Taylor is not that much of a step down against Daniel Jones, so I don't hate that pick.
Tough to bet on ugly teams.
I hate to say this to you, Frank, but I'm actually going Steelers money line. Listen, I could totally see the Rams covering this game and winning this game outright, but I think the game's going to be very tight.
I definitely don't like it at 3.
I'm getting plus 150.
I
think it's solid, and our 2 teams parlayed together is a plus 450 2-team money line parlay. So Put that in for $5 if you want, or don't, whatever you want to do. And then our teaser of the week, I'm going obviously the Chargers, the best teaser leg on the board, plus 11.5. It's insane. Get it while you can, because the closer you wait till Sunday, I'm telling you, this line's probably going to come back down to like 4.5, and you want the 11.5 over the 10.5. So
I'm going Philly. I think.
Tease through 0. God, I hate when you do that.
What's that?
I hate when you tease through 0. Yeah, he doesn't care. 3.5. Philly plus 3.5.
I'm getting. If this game falls down to a field goal, I'm getting a half a point.
I know.
I win by half.
I just
How
don't
could you
like
not
it.
like that?
I don't like teasing through 0 because you don't get any. If you tease a team that's plus 1.5, you get 3, 4, 7. If I tease a team from minus 1.5 through 0, I get 3.
I'm gonna quote my buddy Carl in Cleveland.
Okay, well,
It's
let's hear
about cashing the tickets.
it is
At the
about
end
cashing
of
the
the day.
tickets. At the end of the day, still hate it. I don't think there's enough value.
It's about cashing the tickets. Carl, if you're watching this, I just quoted you, my friend.
Anyway.
All right, buddy.
That's pretty much it for us today. Thank
Yes.
you for watching our podcast. Sorry about last week. Check us out at Let Me Be Frank Mike on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. That's Let Me Be Frank MIK at X or Twitter, all one word. Let Me Be Frank MIK.
Definitely, things will be up by Sunday morning.
Yeah, we
Extra
put stuff up there all the
So
time.
If
If you want to
you
check
don't
out our
see us
picks,
on Friday night, check us out on Twitter.
Yeah,
and
check out the
Spotify
pics.
is coming.
no matter what happens with my phone, I always get on the computer, do Twitter, whatever. I always get on there and put our picks up there. We're gonna start putting our super contest selections up there, me and Frank. So it'll be really fun. Yeah, and we're excited about it. So thank you for watching.
Good luck, guys, this week.
Yeah, thank you for watching. Let Me Be Frank, Mike, and as Carl says, it's all about cash and tickets. Have a good one.
Bye.